Hi there. Thank you for joining me for Solution Sunday. And I'm Robin Lang, your friendly Pampered Chef independent consultant, and I am so happy to have you here with me this evening. We are going to be celebrating, well, tonight it's Mixology night. I asked folks if they saw my post earlier to grab a glass of their favorite beverage to join me, and hoping that the hint would be out there in the request. But we are going to be doing 4 quick different recipes tonight using Pampered Chef's new cocktail set. It came out back in September and it's a lot of fun. So we will be using that as we create these 4 recipes. 2 of them are new to me tonight, and 2 are my favorites that I go to over the course of the year for different events. So the first one we're going to do is in honor of Valentine's Day, which is this week. It is a pink Cosmo. So we're gonna give it a try. This is a Pampered Chef recipe. One of the things that you can do is check our recipes on the Pampered Chef website. What you can type in, I typed in cocktail. You can also type in drink, and so they kind of come up in different ways. Some of our cocktails are also available as non-alcoholic. Well, actually all of them are, but some of them give you the directions for making it non-alcoholic. You can sub out if it's like in our margaritas, you can just use seltzer water or something instead of the tequila to give it still the same flavor. So we have different options. We're going to start with the pink Cosmo, and it's start with a simple syrup. I made this earlier. The Pampered Chef does have, there are several all over the internet directions on how to make a simple syrup. Pampered Chef also has their own. It was 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of water in a microwavable bowl. You put it in for 4 to 5 minutes and you stirred it halfway through. I did 5 minutes and just did it simple, 2.5 minutes stir, 2.5 minutes. I used our flexible bowl here, which silicone bowl. Love this. It's one of our prep bowls. You can buy them individually or in a set of 3. They're just terrific. They go in the microwave and are great for doing things like this. So it calls for 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup. One of the things that we have in our cocktail set is our 2-ounce jigger. Inside you'll see the different lines and the different ounce marks. So there's the demarcations for everything. So I'm going to start by pouring from our really nice flexible thing 3/4 of an ounce of the simple syrup. Oop, a little bit more. And so we're going to take the large cup from our shaker set. I'm going to pour in our simple syrup. Then it asks for the same amount of 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice, which I squeezed earlier on in our juice press. Sorry. There we go. Add that to the cup. Then it says to do a half an ounce of cranberry juice. And, you know, in the midst of all of this, I am using diet cranberry juice. I'm not sure why, but it just sounded like, oh, that's a little bit better, right? I have to tell you, I like the fact that we can see these on the inside. Oop. But when I'm doing this, the light is kind of awkward. So here we go. Half an ounce of cranberry juice, and then 1.5 ounces of vodka. So I know, giant. It was all I could find. And where's that line? There it is. Pour that right in there. Oop. And now it says to take 1 cup of ice and add it to the shaker. So sorry, this is going to get loud. All right. Now the cool thing about our shaker is it's kind of the double cup style. So what you do is you put the top cup, the smaller cup, in at a bit of an angle. You don't want to have it up and down. You do it at a bit of an angle, and you push it down, and then it will seal. You'll start to feel once the ice gets in there that it's getting cold already. And shake vigorously, so please ignore the sounds. All right, it's pretty vigorously, both sides. Now, the best way to get the top off is you can either squeeze this, or you can just, which is the way, I don't want to knock this all over. There's a way to smack it, and then it pops off. And then you take the strainer, which is also part of the cocktail set, and spring side down, just in case you weren't sure. The spring fits right inside the top of the large cup. You're going to push a little bit when you strain it, just in case you have, we don't really today, but sometimes if you have things in it that you need to really make sure stuff doesn't fall out. If you push forward on this a little bit, it holds it down, and it also helps to keep the other things out. So then it says to shake vigorously, use the cocktail strainer, and strain it into a chilled glasses. Now, I forgot to put these in the refrigerator, so they're not really chilled, but let's take a look. Ooh, nice and pink. Look at that. So there's our Cosmo with our lime twist garnish. So, cocktail number 1 in honor of Valentine's Day, our Cosmo. Listen, you can smell the lime. Ooh, puckery, but good. That is good. All right, so that was a new one for me. I had not made one of those before. And that came out really well and really easy with our cocktail set. So you can find that recipe on the Pampered Chef website. You can also find it if you buy, all of the cocktail set things can be sold individually, but if you buy the whole set together, and I'm going to be showing you the bits throughout the evening, and then I'll put them all together at the end. When you buy the full cocktail set, which is everything together, you also get this cool little card. And the card teaches you the one thing that bartenders learn, which is the 2-1-1 rule. 2 ounces, 2 parts liquor to 1 part sweet and 1 part sour. So when you are doing anything, if you just remember that rule, you can pretty much mix and match anything you need. The card does come, including this recipe, the Cosmo, it does come with lots of recipes on it. Gives you some bar lingo on the back, talks about the difference between shaken and stirred, and how to make the simple syrup, master the muddler, and all of that kind of stuff. So it's really a handy card. So that comes when you buy the set as a whole. And I just wanted to, I always forget to say this at the beginning, but my disclaimer is, I appreciate folks joining in live. Unfortunately, I can't see what people are writing right away, so I will get to your questions and answers toward the end, or right after the video is done. I will make sure I check in with everyone. So thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. The second recipe for tonight is another one that's new to me, but really sounds good, and especially in these really cold days, even though this is a cold drink, it kind of makes you feel like it should be something that's going to warm you up. It's the apple cider bourbon cocktail. This one's also on the Pampered Chef website. And so we're going to start with, now I did the simple syrup earlier, which was just sugar and water. This one called for a different kind of syrup, and it is the cinnamon and brown sugar syrup. So we made that on the stove top. You brought the ingredients, and when you get this recipe off Pampered Chef, it actually has the recipe for the cinnamon brown sugar syrup. This calls for, and I'm going to rinse this. Where's my water? I'm going to rinse the jigger out just a little bit to get the last drink out of there, because this one's got a little bit different ingredients. This one calls for 1 ounce of the syrup, Smells so good. You can really smell the cinnamon in here. And it says add to our, oops, I'm gonna have to get rid of this. Keep this out. Sorry, I'm gonna have to do a quick clean in between. I don't have one of those handy little squirter things. So we're going to add our 1 ounce of syrup and 2 ounces of bourbon. And as you can tell, you just use whatever appeals to you. It's your choice. Everybody has their own taste in their particular brands that they like. Use whatever works for you. 2 ounces of bourbon. Now the cool thing is, I don't know if you noticed that I hit 2 ounces and I wasn't panicked about it being right at the top. Most jiggers that I have in the cabinet, the 2 ounce mark, literally there's no mark for it because it's the very top of the jigger. This one, the 2 ounce mark is down at least a ½ an inch, so that if you fill it all the way to the 2 ounces, you're not worried about spilling it as you're moving it. That is really cool. So we put our 2 ounces in, and then this one calls for, where'd it go? 1 ounce of half and half. Like I said, this sounds like it's going to be like a cider drink or something that you're going to, sorry, oops. There we go. 1 ounce of half and half. And then 4 ounces of apple cider. Oops. I need a I need to pour this out. I have my 4 ounces of cranberry for later. Don't want to get that mixed up. So 4 ounces of apple cider. Oh, sorry, that's what I had here. I knew I mixed. I'm sorry. I know my assistant is pointing, but I'm not seeing it. So I have 4 ounces of apple cider, and that goes right in there. And then 2 cups of ice. So it's, again, you're using a cup in here. So then you're going to add a cup of ice again. And can you, since you're standing there, can you dump that out and then refill it with these little ones? Then we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to put the shaker top on at a bit of an angle, and we're going to shake. Oh, before you put the ice in, empty it out, bring it back really quick. Got it. And then you can just use the 1 cup thing. Oop. Sorry, it's singing. There we go. And this one says to add, one is a suggestion. You don't have to do it, but it does say you can add 1 tablespoon of caramel. Oops, I hope that's not leaking through. 1 tablespoon of caramel to the bottom of a chilled glass. And so I had this in the fridge, then I added some ice to it just to keep it chilled. I don't have my scraper, but you can see I'm using my little petite measure-all, so you can use your sticky stuff and just push it right out so you don't have to worry about it. And then I'm going to fill it with ice. So, got enough? Might need some more. Yep, gonna need some more. And I might just use some of that. So we're going to put some of this in. We're going to kind of, there we go. Not quite filled with ice, but close enough for today. And then we're going to add the strainer to this and making sure. Pour it in. Whoa. There's quite a bit in there. And maybe that's one. Gonna add our straw. And this one says to add, garnish it with a slice of apple. There you go. And apple is going to be kind of a motif for us tonight. We're going to use apples in something else too. But this is our apple cider bourbon cocktail. And I just have to say, it looks delicious. Pretty interesting. It's good.
Do you have your keys, dear?
So, that was recipe number 2. Both of those recipes, the Cosmo and the apple cider bourbon cocktail, are available on the Pampered Chef website. And all you have to do is, like I said, check out cocktails and drinks, and both of those will come up. The last 2, if you give me a moment to do a quick clean. So the last 2 cocktails are ones that actually are not in Pampered Chefs, but they are recipes that I've made. They're kind of, what do you call them, copycats from a couple of places that, one of them is a friend of mine and I. We were down at Disneyland, and just after the Halloween, or I mean, not even, I guess it was, I don't know why it was still on there. It was a Halloween drink, but we were there in March, so it was still, for some reason, still on their menu, which was great. But it's called the Poison Apple Teeny, and there's several different versions of it online. The version that we make is one that you use apple-flavored whiskey. There are a couple of them that are on there that you use vodka. And this is the one that we really liked. This is the one that they told us what they used to make it, and so we kind of went with that one. And I think I got everything. This is a really fun one, and I make it every Halloween. Make it on Halloween now. Get myself in the mood. So it starts with 2 ounces of your apple flavored whiskey. And then you're going to add 1 ounce of sour apple schnapps. And I'm telling you, this really makes it puckery. And then you add 2 ounces of cranberry juice. And when I did this before, the first time I found a recipe for this, it was just, this is where you stopped. It was cranberry juice. And I found that I needed to add a little bit more cranberry juice because it just seemed a little too puckery and too sweet. But this particular recipe calls for 1 ounce of apple juice, and I think that's what the other recipe was missing. And so I'm going to add our 1 ounce of apple juice. This is really good, I have to say. This is really good. And then we're going to put a little bit of ice in there. And shake it up. Oh, I did that wrong. Now, I'm in the mood to shake, as you can tell. But this particular recipe says take the spoon, and as you can see, we have this cool spoon to use. And actually, the bowl of the spoon is 1/8 of an ounce. So if there's ever any recipe that you're making anything for and you need 1/8 of an ounce, this is the measurement for you. This particular recipe, and I forgot, this is the only one that lists to stir it until it's cold. And one of the things I found was that it said to shake on that card, shake things when you're trying to combine them, and it's like sours with the alcohol. And to stir when you're mixing alcohols together. And so you're gonna stir, and I can tell, it says stir until it gets cold, and what it is when the outside of this gets cold, and it's really, wow, just that little bit of stirring has really made this nice and cold. So one of the things they showed us when it was that if, and I used to be able to do it, tonight of course it's not working, but if you do this correctly, my hands are a little sticky, you can just run the back of the spoon around the inside of the cup, and that's what the twisted handle will help do. It'll help keep the spoon at the back of the spoon against the cup, and it just spins in your hand really easily with the twisted handle like that. So that worked out well. And now we take our martini glass, and where'd our strainer go? There it is. Put our strainer on. Ooh, sorry. I don't have anything pumpkin-y to put in there. But as you can see, this is another, okay, it's nice and red for Valentine's Day, but I'm not sure this is the one you're going to put as your top. You might want to tell somebody it's something else, not poison appletini, because that's not as romantic as I think you would want it to be. Oh yeah, it could probably still use a little bit more cranberry juice. Adding the apple juice kept a really strong apple flavor to it, which is great. But if you wanted to cut down the sweetness just a little bit, I think I would put a little bit more cranberry juice in there. But it's a fun one and nice. Halloween is perfect for this because it's got a strong candy apple flavor to it. Really good. All right. And so our last recipe of the night is one that I've actually made, I make often, and it's a great summertime recipe. Oop, I just realized, hang on, forgot one thing. Sorry, I had to run to the freezer. This is why. This one I keep 3 or 4 of these in the freezer, so that when I need to do something root beer-ish, you've got your nice frosty mug. This one is really simple. This one is, there's a local restaurant here. I don't know how far the chain goes, but they make a great, what they call an Irish root beer. And so it's really simple. I just rinse this really quick and get all of our apple flavors out, because that is not what we want for this one. And this one does not require the shaker. It doesn't require very much of anything except the jigger and your bits to put in it. It will, however, require a can opener. And so, lucky us, we have one of those as well. So this one is, you're going to take your whiskey, and since it's an Irish root beer, we're going to use Irish whiskey. And you're going to put 1 ounce. This is not as much alcohol as the others in this respect. But you put your 1 ounce of whiskey. And then you're gonna do 1/2 ounce of Irish cream. And then 1/2 ounce of butterscotch schnapps. Sorry. Yep, 1/2 ounce. And then can you grab me a bottle off the kitchen refrigerator door? And then once you've got all those, this one also calls for, thanks. Oh,
I know.
This one also calls for 1/2 ounce of cream if you'd like. I usually don't add that. That's kind of one of those optional things. So if you've got some heavy cream, you could probably use the 1/2 and 1/2 again. You can put a 1/2 ounce of that in it, but I find that it's just as tasty without it. So then you're gonna grab the can opener and we're gonna pour our root beer right in. And there's a regular old root beer. And it foamed a little bit more than, no, there's just a little bit of foam there. I have to be really careful because it can go all over the place. This one I like, and this is a great one for the summer because it's nice and cold and frothy, and it's soda pop, really. You have to really, I have to say, you do have to watch it when you're drinking these. And the same with the candy apple one. You know, it's candy, and so you're not thinking about the alcohol, so you do have to pay attention. These are all alcoholic drinks, and you can obviously just drink the root beer on its own. You could probably leave the whiskey out of the appletini and just add something in its place, some more cranberry juice. I saw a non-alcoholic version, kind of more of a smoothie style, using lemonade and something else. But anyway, they called it a poison apple drink or something like that, and it was for kids, and it was a lot of fun. So there are lots of options out there. Our cocktail set, so those are our 4 drinks that we made tonight. I'm sorry, I'm trying to make sure I get it all in here, and we have our Irish root beer, our poison appletini, and our apple cider, bourbon cocktail, and our Cosmo. Let's see. And our cocktail set, let me see if I can, sorry, let me rearrange this a little bit more. Some of this I have to save and some I don't. So let me get our drinks here. And I'll show you our cocktail set in its entirety. You've already seen the 2-part shaker, the 2-cup shaker, and our strainer, the spoon, and the can opener, the card, the jigger, the most important part, right? And our muddler. Now, I didn't make any drinks tonight where we had to squish up any mint leaves or any of that kind of stuff, but that's what you would do with this. The recipe on the card here for mojitos, to be honest with you, I don't do mojitos very well, but I do mint juleps on Derby Day in May, so tune back in at a week before the Kentucky Derby, and I'll be showing you how to make a mint julep. And that's a lot of fun. There's a whole story that goes with those and a whole lot of tradition, and again, with the simple syrup. So I think that's everything. Thanks for joining me on Solution Sunday. I hope you have a great week and a very happy Valentine's Day. And I think I've got it all. All right. Thanks so much. And be sure and let me know if you have any particular solutions you'd like me to cover. Next week is another Sunday, and then we'll be checking out another solution. Thanks so much, and have a great day.
Chelsea wants to know who's going to be drinking all the drinks.
Oh, sorry. One last. We have a peanut gallery chiming in there, wanting to know who's drinking all the drinks. You're welcome to join us. If any of these look appealing and you're local, you can come by and check them out. And otherwise, we're going to be sharing them among the crowd here at the house. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, and good night.